everyone, I hope everyone's doing well. I have had a busy week or so back at my parents' place, and I had a whole list of projects to do and some stuff to sort out, and I was cooking for them a few nights in a row as well. My father did put up with my vegetarian and vegan cooking, which is good. And yeah, I wanted to kind of share some of the stuff I've been working on. So I had a few things that I wanted to make. I have a sewing machine, but it lives at a friend's house up in Scotland, and a load of my fabrics and threads and stuff had ended up down at my parents' place sometime last year when I was down there and wanted to work on some things and have my mum's help. She knows what she's doing a little bit more than me with a sewing machine. She's definitely better at actually making a pattern for something before just cutting up fabric and trying to sew it together, which is what I tend to do, which doesn't always come out just how I'm expecting. So I wanted to make use of her sewing machine with her skills and expertise around, as well as my fabrics. So I have made a few things. I'll start with this. I have some sort of making of videos that I will slot in somewhere as well, but I have basically been making these, which are cosies for my flasks. So this one is my food flask, and it just has a little drawer pull, and then there's my food flask. It's like this. I often cook with this, or keep food warm in it for a while. I do like miso soups and noodles and things like that, sometimes a cup of soup or something, and it's great. But when the weather is really cold, the outside of it feels super cold, and I just wanted it to have a little bit of extra warmth. I figured if it works for teapots, then why not for my flask? So this is my fleece cozy. I did a double layer bit of fleece, so it's got, I'm not sure if that's going to come out in focus, but it's basically got double layered fleece, and then in the bottom it was a little bit challenging to try and sew two circles sort of into the side. It was going to be too many bits of fabric. So I basically have a spare piece that just goes in the bottom. This is the same for all of my flasks. I just didn't think I could sew that many pieces of fabric together. There'd have been a point where I had like 6 layers of fleece, and there was no way I was going to get that underneath the foot of the sewing machine. So the extra padding for the bottom just sits inside. And we're going to see how these go. I haven't had much of an opportunity to test them yet, but I'm very excited. They also just feel super snuggly. I feel like I should hug them. I have ones for my flasks as well that I keep water warm in. So I have one for this flask and my smaller one, which still has some water in it that was still warm this morning. So this is a good sign. This one's very snug, which is good. This is the one I use the most to try and keep some water warm overnight. So I've got something warm to wash with in the morning. You may have noticed I'm not really a hot drink in the morning person, or sometimes a hot drink for any of the day person. It's just not a habit I ever got into. I'm not a tea or coffee fan. I drink some fruity herbal teas sometimes, but I don't feel the need to have that every morning. So I am sort of British, but not really properly British in that way. So I'm usually just trying to keep water warm so that I can wash my face with warm water in the morning, and sometimes wash my hair as well. So that is all of my wonderful flasks. So they were fun to make. The sewing, I'm fine with sewing in straight lines, but the sewing of the circles at the bottom came out with varied success. I did this one first, which is the largest and the easiest, and it turned out okay. My next one does not look so much like a circle. It's a little bit lopsided. And my last one was actually turned out better, even though it was the smallest and super fiddly. I don't want to do any more right now. So that is all of those. And then we also made a bag for, I say we on this one because I got my mum to do the circle at the bottom because I was I intimidated. We did it first and I was intimidated by the idea of trying to sew in a circle. I feel a little bit better about it now. But we made this bag for my main cooking pot. So the pot I cook with most of the time is this one. It looks very clean and shiny right now because I like to clean the outside of it and get all the carbon black stuff that happens when you cook over a fire off it, because otherwise it goes everywhere. And also the build-up just ends up affecting cooking and it just goes everywhere. And I hate black stuff going everywhere. I've stained some trousers and things. I can't get it off. So I wanted a bag for this. I've wanted a bag for this for ages. It didn't come with one. So we made one. This is some old fabric that my old mattress in my first Blingo was covered in. It's like slightly waterproof fabric, and we made my windbreak out of it last year, possibly last April or something, when I was down at my parents', and there was still more fabric, so repurposed it. I love reusing fabrics from other things and just repurposing it. Some of the fleece fabric I'd had since I was a teenager, back when I used to attempt to make clothing and things, and it's just been sitting around, so I love making use of stuff like that. And yes, this bag means that now when my pot's really dirty, it can just go in here. I usually try and clean it after I use it. And sometimes if I haven't got enough water and things, or I'm not near a stream or something for water, that's just not possible. So now I have a bag to put it in so that it doesn't get black all over everything else in my home, which otherwise it kind of does do. So I'm quite happy with that. Ta-da! Other things we have made is just some pouches for a few things that I wanted to store. Oh, that's a big lorry going past. The last thing I wanted to show you that I made, I had said to somebody quite some time ago that when I made some more of these, I would film it. But I was running around trying to do too many things in a short period of time at my parents' house, and having spent too much time having nice, long, leisurely meals and chatting and playing games and things, which I always end up doing when I'm with them, it ended up a bit of a rush at the end. So my mum actually did these for me, which is amazing. And these are pea cloths. So I started using pea cloths, as I call them, quite a few years ago. Like most people, I guess, when I used to camp years ago, I used to use toilet paper and then have to deal with getting rid of toilet paper. And then I was actually reading a book about through hikes, people doing through hikes in the States. And they were talking about, the women talking about pea cloths and using that. And I thought that sounded interesting. So I started like cutting up bits of fabric, like an absorbent fabric, popping a little like elastic loop or something on the end. And for years, that was what I had. And then when I was moving into the van, I decided to make some with a waterproof backing. I didn't come up with this idea myself. I saw a company in the States that was making them. I stumbled upon it somehow online and just went, oh, that looks really cool. And that means that, you know, your hands are clean and dry, which is extra handy. But I don't think they were shipping to the UK. I don't know if they do now. I don't really want to order something from the States, even if I could get it shipped here. And I just thought, oh, can I make that? So I made some using old waterproof fabric from an old pair of waterproof trousers that were not waterproof in some places, enough to wear out hiking, but and just outdoors. But I basically cut up the legs, used them, and then used a like bamboo fabric from some cloths on the inside. And then I've made some since with using old the same stuff I used for my flannels. I'm trying to see where it is, this stuff, which is an old I can't find my words. It is a like travel towel, so like a lightweight towel. So I've made some out of that, which I'm not sure that I like as much as the other fabric, but I like the fact that it's coloured. And the first ones that I had made with the bamboo like fabric and stuff was like white. So it does stain after a while. So I had ordered some like terry toweling sort of fabric that is supposed to be good for things like this. And then also some new waterproof fabric because I'd used up pretty much everything that was usable from the trousers. So these are my new pea cloths. My mother has done an amazing job. They're very neatly sewed together. They're a bit more neat and tidy than the previous batch where we did stitching. We just sort of put the two pieces together and stitched it around the outside, and looks fine at first, but gets quite shabby. I haven't had a chance to use these yet because I've only just left my parents' house. So I will test them and see how they go. But for the person that I said that I would film it when I eventually made them, sorry, that didn't happen. Mostly because my mother was being really sweet and made them for me. What she did is basically just did a lovely neat seam and turned them inside out, stitched around, and then for the last section we stitched on the, well, she stitched on the outside, and before that I just popped these in. So I have some little poppers. It means that if I want to clip this on the outside of a rucksack when I'm out for a hike, or pretty much anywhere, I can just clip it on. I will let you guys know how these go, and how it goes with the flask cosies, as I'm calling them, as a bit of an experiment. So we'll see, but I'm very excited. Just pop them away where they live. Other things I have been up to is, as I said, a load of cooking for my parents. So I will show you some of the exciting meals I made. They're ones that I wouldn't usually make in the van, and also wanted to experiment and had found a recipe for some bhaji burgers. So they were awesome. And then I did a little bit of work on the van over Christmas with my brother because he is great at helping me with things. As you might know, if you've seen earlier videos, it's my brother that helped me do the conversion. I say helped. We worked together. He didn't like just help me. Couldn't have done it without him. So he helped me fix a couple of things, add some insulation into my boot like panel, which I had wanted to do since I had added insulation up under the headlining. I had plenty of spare and I wanted to do that. Didn't get around to it. He has all the little crazy tools that pop off, like the fittings and stuff on cars. I can't think what they would be called. He will probably tell me. I'm heading to his place shortly, so he will probably tell me what they should be called. He has them and is just good at this kind of stuff. So we work well together. He's a lot taller than me, and my hands and arms are a lot smaller, and I'm shorter, obviously. So anything that like he can't reach or is difficult to get into and needs a small hand, I can do, and anything that needs like someone tall or someone just a little bit bigger than me, he can do. So it works well. It's a good balance. So he helped me sort out a couple of things there, and I got a little bit of footage of that. And then I've also replaced my headlights, which I wanted to test in the dark. And last night was the first time I'd driven in the dark with them since replacing them. And it was foggy. So I couldn't really tell whether they're better, but I was finding that they just weren't bright enough at night. Everyone else's lights felt like they were blinding me. And I just decided the visibility wasn't good enough and it was time to replace them. So I popped 2 headlights in, which as usual are super fiddly, but I don't like paying for other people to do jobs like that. They were easier to access than on some of my other cars when I've replaced headlights, but still like a hand underneath something fiddly, and it's not until you've done them that you go, oh, now I know how to do them. And when you're just trying to figure out what to pull off and what to, yeah, good fun, but they work, so that's a good sign. I think that's everything. Anything else I will just kind of squeeze in here. I also totally stripped everything out of Silva and gave her and all my stuff the best clean it's had in quite a while. I feel like I've talked a long time, so hopefully when I edit this down, it won't be just me talking the whole time, or I'll pop some nice video in front of it so that it's not just my face for the whole video. So I've left Devon. I am up in Gloucestershire right now. I'm heading to my brother's to see, well, my brother and my sister-in-law, and most importantly, my wonderful little nephew. I'm going to be spending a few days with them. I can't really travel up the country or down the country without just seeing my nephew a little bit more. So I'm going to see them. I've got some other plans to see friends and family on my travels north. So I will see what I film along the way on that. So that will be in the next video. Stay tuned and I will see you guys soon.